All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ankit, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sapien. Sapien is a Web 3.0 social platform that will reward content creators, fight fake news, and put users back in control of their data. We're building the world's first tokenized, reputation-based social platform on the Ethereum blockchain. Our platform is powered by our ERC20 compliant cryptocurrency called SPN, which serves as the backbone of our tokenized economy. So as a startup in the blockchain space, working on this project has been some of the most rewarding and fulfilling years of my life. Right? Earlier this January, we held our token sale for the Sapien token, in which we raised over 20,000 Ether, which was then valued at $20 million. And since then, we've been on an absolute rocket ship. Having built Sapien from the ground up, we've had an opportunity to think deeply about how businesses will thrive in the decentralized web. So today, I want to share some of the foundations for a tokenized social network and some of the strategies that all of you can use for your token economies. First, a quick disclaimer. And to keep my compliance team happy, all the views that I'm representing here today are my views alone and not necessarily Sapien Network's, nor does this constitute financial advice of any kind. So, let me fix it. First, a little bit of background. Sapien was founded in 2016, and at the time, it was my co-founder, Rob, and I. We were both extremely frustrated with the current state of social networks. And we would hear headline after headline of data breach, privacy violation, fake news. And we really thought to ourselves that we could build a better platform that was more privacy-focused and democratized. So we started to code Sapien. And in 2016, we were just coding away. In 2017, we realized that the blockchain and this emerging technology could provide a new sort of infrastructure, and we began to explore that technology. We didn't know at the time, but blockchain was the perfect infrastructure, the Ethereum distributed computer, to build a social platform on, because it could address some of these problems that we had been talking for hours and hours. So before we talk about the solution, I think it's important to talk a little bit more about what are the problems that plague current social platforms, and why do we really want to reinvent social on the blockchain? So across all these centralized applications right now, the YouTubes, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, content creators are consistently getting the short end of the stick. And let's take YouTube, for example. YouTube keeps 45% of the ad revenue a video makes, right? And this doesn't even factor in editing or production costs, but the creator is ending up with very little money, barely scraping even. And what compounds this problem is how easily these companies can demonetize certain creators at whim, right? They don't ask them permission or anything. They just go ahead, and if they disagree with them, they'll demonetize them. And we think that this is too much power being entrusted to a central authority. So a better social network would be one with restricted power and one that rewards contributors fairly for their content. 2, fake news is running rampant. So according to this Stanford study, over 30 million fake items were shared in the 2016 presidential campaign. 30 million. And now, regardless of your political beliefs, I think we can all agree that fake news is something that undermines democracy and needs to be addressed. So on Twitter, false stories are 70% more likely to be retweeted. And what's worse is that these companies make tons of money off these fake items. So like when the Russian misdirection campaign happened, Facebook was well aware of this, and they were making a lot of revenue on this. They willingly turned a blind eye to their users and permitted the deception of their user base. So instead of pumping up revenue from fake items, a better social network is one that proactively protects and informs users from misinformation. And to quote Nicholas Thompson and Fred Vogelstein, Facebook also sold ads against the stories, and sensational garbage was good at pulling people into the platform. Employees' bonuses can be based largely on whether Facebook hits certain growth and revenue targets, which gives people an extra incentive not to worry. Facebook had plenty of reasons to keep its head in the sand. So I'm not the only one who feels this way, right? I mean, this is a gross misalignment of interests. And I personally feel that the days of these greedy, rigid platforms are limited. All right, let's face it. Your data is being mined and sold. If you do use services like Facebook, you're more than likely being exploited and deceived to some extent, right? I mean, your click habits, your viewing behaviors, they're tracked over time, and certain articles, certain friend requests, group suggestions are pushed to you that maximize the ad dollars companies can make off of you. And let's not forget the Cambridge Analytica scandal with Facebook, in which they leaked over 50 million users' information, obviously without their consent. Now, this UK-based firm was responsible and assisted the Trump campaign in targeting voters with an exploitable psychological profile. Right? So we believe that users should have complete and transparent control of their data, and that a better social network takes appropriate steps to protect this data. And last, there's undemocratic social networks. If for a second you consider Facebook to be a virtual country, right, with its users as its citizens, we're looking at the second largest country in the world. And with a GDP of 571 billion, or with a market cap of 571 billion, that's greater than the GDP of 90% of countries in the world. So, with that much fiscal power and societal influence, it begs the question, how much voice does the average social media user have on these platforms? You want to take any guesses? Not much? Zero. Absolutely no power. And when these networks mess up, like Cambridge Analytica and Facebook, is it really enough to get Mark Zuckerberg in a room testifying for a few hours with little to no consequence? I don't think that's good enough. So these may sound like a ton of varied and difficult problems, but we do believe that distributed technologies and tokenization can help provide a solution. So what is Sapien? Sapien is a movement that urges people to take back control of their social experience. It's a paradigm shift to the way users operate, to the way that they interact, to the way that they influence and transact with online communities. We believe that it is the distillation to the solutions to the problems I just addressed, right? Whereas before content creators were being exploited, now the Sapien rewards engine rewards creators fairly for their contributions and lets users monetize their communities. Fake news will be sieved away with our proof of value protocol, which I'll go into more details. And users will be in complete and transparent control of their data using the blockchain. And finally, decentralized governance can help restore online democracy. Sapien will become a Web 3.0 network of tokenized applications that empower users by guarding free speech, cherishing data privacy, and proliferating democracy. And our vision is first realized through the Sapien platform, which is already live. Tons of exciting content being generated. I recommend all of you go check it out today. Real exciting developments. You got to join the revolution today. And at Sapien, we truly believe that the users are the value creators in every network, right? Imagine YouTube without any of its creators or Facebook without its users. What you're looking at is a complete empty platform, a ghost town, right? It's just lines of code. The real value comes from the users. And this has been a guiding principle for Sapien throughout this process, and it will continue to be as we move forward. So the foundations of Sapien. And before I dive into this a little bit deeper, I think it's important to talk about some of the prerequisites. Having a powerful mission is absolutely essential in inspiring others to follow you, right? At Sapien right now, we have a distributed team of over 20 team members, and it's not like anyone's watching over their back, right? But everyone is sort of bound together by this shared mission that inspires us to work 14, 16-hour workdays. And I think the second thing that's also super important is the foundations of a tokenized social network require a new infrastructure, a new technology, right? So for us, it was the SPN token that allows us to create this token economy that helps align interests of users. All right, so diving a little bit deeper into proof of value. So this is our approach to distinguishing and incentivizing valuable content while discouraging the spread of fake news and of content that doesn't align with the values of the community. So we partnered up with Civic to put identities on the blockchain. And what this entails is that when you sign up, you'll have to verify your identity. And what this does is it mitigates trolling, mitigates fake accounts, bots, and just other bad actors. Next is something at stake. This is basically a user is required to put SPN tokens up for stake to access the network. And I'll go into this in a little bit more details as part of our staking economy. Third is reputation in communities. And reputation is an amazing thing, and I know we'll be seeing more and more of it. But essentially what it does is it tracks and reflects the expertise of a user over time. So highly reputed individuals our hope is that they can help identify misinformation proactively and then also guide and call out any parties that are manipulating. And lastly, we plan to use artificial intelligence. We're looking into stance detection and behavior clustering, which can help detect any suspicious users or colluding communities. So you can see that proof of value is definitely it's a pretty rich concept, and we know that the problem with fake news is a difficult one, right? We're looking at an issue that isn't easily solvable just by one thing. So we did take a multifaceted approach with this, and we think this is probably the best approach that we have to stop some of the spread of fake news. All right, so the process of staking. Essentially, what you do as a user is you send SPN tokens to the Ethereum blockchain, and these tokens are locked securely on the blockchain, and it gives you access to platform rewards, new incentive models, aligning community values, and then discouraging manipulation and production of illegal content, because now you have something at stake. And to go into a little bit more detail, the way that the rewards engine works is that the more SPN that you stake, the increased capacity for action you have, which means the more rewardable posts, comments, and votes that you can make, right? And we believe that this is justifiable because a user is claiming that they're creating more value in the network, therefore they must have something greater at stake, Second, by staking, a creator can easily create a premium community. And a premium community on Sapien allows you to earn rewards from the reward pool. It allows you to monetize your community, so if you want to show ads in the community that you've created. And it also enhances visibility throughout the site. Third, in the marketplace, what we're looking at with staking is that there's a listing fee that can be paid with staked SPN. And the more SPN that you stake, the reduced fees that you'd be looking at. In the ad platform, users can choose to monetize their own data. And the more SPN that they stake, the greater the revenue that they've generated they can earn. Right? So it's a way for us to sacrifice our immediate business revenue for the longevity of the token. And we think this is really cool. And finally, staking is really cool because it serves as a deposit as well. So as Sapien migrates over to proof of stake, this is something that could easily be implemented and works really well, sets us up well for full decentralization. And yeah, so that's pretty much staking in a nutshell. On to the next premise. Data is the new oil. So one of the fundamental premises of a tokenized social network is its ability to shift from data slavery to data sovereignty. Right? For the first time in history, we're looking at Web 3.0 technology that can empower users and give them back control of their data. So what tokenization enables is the complete and transparent control of information. On Sapien, users can choose to monetize their own data if they wish to do so. And we truly believe that data sovereignty is something that is so fundamental to tokenized applications, and to build a more accountable social network, this is something that must exist. And finally, we have decentralized governance. So, we believe at Sapien, our job is to build the tools to help users and communities self-govern. Right? So that's why we partnered up with DAOstack, an operating system for collective intelligence. And what this enables is a proposal system with inbuilt reputation. So together we're really looking at finding a resilient and scalable solution to let Sapien users align around shared interests and goals. And we really think that together, with reputation-weighted proposals and something at stake design and some of the innovations that I've talked about, we can really breathe new life into Sapien as it becomes this, continually evolving network that can adapt and self-modify over the years. And this is really exciting. So what are the implications of what we're building? Right? And there's two main implications. One, I don't think users will ever go back to Web 2.0 technologies once they realize the true power of Web 3, the way that it so efficiently aligns interests, whether it's data, being rewarded for content, or being able to effectively fight fake news. This tech is coming. It's already out. There's people working hours and hours, my team included, that are making this a reality. So it's kind of like when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone with its touchscreen. All the other mobile devices and tech started following this interface, and anything else was considered a cognitive burden. And we think something similar will happen with Web3 technologies. And second, I joke about this with my team all the time, but we could potentially enter the North Korean market, which would be pretty fun. The fact that we're building this decentralized network enables us to cross country boundaries and really permits the free flow of information. So that's that could be something that happens. And yeah, that's pretty much some of the key foundations to a tokenized social network. Thank you all for your time. Please do check us out at sapien.network, and I'm open for a few questions from the crowd, if you guys have any. Yeah, go ahead.
I really like the idea that, the orange shows your passion and what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the user adoption and those kind of things, and winning away from basics of hook to the Facebook or using it and handy and easy and entertaining. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to go wild or scale on? Concept was good, and the traction has to go incremental, and all those things you might be.
Mm-hmm.
Can you throw some light on
Yeah.
how you're going to foresee in the next 1 year or so?
Right. I think, no, it's a great question, and that's something that we're always trying to map out. And the key thing to realize here is that unlike so many of these other social networks, we have an inbuilt incentive model. So we have this entire token economy, and it works really well on aligning certain incentives, right? And this goes to the next step when you're joining the network or you're referring your friends. You can very easily incentivize that with tokens, right? So what you're looking at is that, hey, you sign up, you'll get some amount of tokens. You sign up earlier, you'll get more tokens. And most people might just be like, hey, for the heck of it, I'll sign up and try it out, right? So the fact that we have this underlying cryptocurrency enables us to grow quite rapidly, right? And it's just a matter of getting that threshold with network effects, and then it'll take off, right? The value of a network is n squared, so every additional user that we add is adding n squared value to the network. So,
Do you think that's enough for adoption scale? Because, for example, Steam came with the content kind of a model, and the way the journey of the Steam, even though the intrinsic value is there for providers and all,
right.
it didn't take off whatever the reason. So that's the lessons that we all have learned.
Absolutely, yeah.
What kind of difference? Like signing up and giving a token is a basic thing, but token adoption,
Right.
all those things. So what kind of
Yeah.
deep on that?
So in that point, I think making it super simple as from a user experience perspective, that's really important. Some sites like Steemit, there's 3 different types of tokens, right? Steam Power, Steam Dollars. So that is usually confusing for the average consumer. If you really want mass adoption, you have to look at some simplified model, and that's how we came up with staking. And it's super straightforward. You have tokens that are unstaked, and then you have tokens that are staked. No more complexity than that. And in general, just making the user experience as seamless as possible, that's what's needed for mass adoption. It's not going to happen any other way. So like just like how Coinbase did it, right? Why was Coinbase so popular? Like, it was just so easy to use. You could just sign up, link your account, and enter the crypto market. So, cool. All right, thank you.